COVID started, because that's kind of
COVID.
yeah, that's kind of what I remember back
Mm-hmm.
to. I don't think I remember much
Okay.
back further past that. Right now, it's like right before COVID started. Me and the woman that I was dating, uh, we had moved out to Doty, Washington, which is like this tiny little town, uh, and we had moved out there because it was $900 a month, 110 acres on this
Damn.
beautiful house, or not beautiful house, but beautiful property,
Property. Yeah.
and yeah, just a whole bunch of woods and stuff like that. And we were kind of getting used to the whole COVID thing setting in, and which was crazy. And so we decided to Doty got I got restless in Doty. I feel sorry for anything that tries to slow me down, because I mean I said that to my brace the other day that I'm supposed to be wearing. It's like, sorry, it's laying in the yard somewhere. I can't. I can't slow down. It's just like I love living at 100 miles an hour, and I don't have to stop and smell the roses. I'll take a quick whiff when I go by, but it's like I love
Just a free spirit.
experiencing. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
experiencing. I love moving, and I don't. Ever since I left Washington, so that's what happened. We were out in Doty. COVID hit. We were kind of new dating, so we decided to get an RV and travel, which not many people do. And we had made this plan to take a trip around the United States. So to start in Washington and hit the ocean all the way around, and then hit the border back, the Canadian and Washington border back. And so we started to do that, and we got stopped in Lake Havasu because I mean COVID was crazy, bro. And when we were traveling, because every single town was different. You would either walk into a town and they would look at you like you were weird if you were wearing a mask, or they would look at you weird if you weren't.
Depending on where you were. Yeah.
Totally depending, I mean,
Yeah.
town by town, and maybe even sometimes the side of town you were on. It was crazy, but everything had stopped, right? And so we're just like going through, and it was almost like you had to use caution in everywhere you went, because number one, you were a new person, and everybody had kind of hunkered down by then. So that was super interesting. But then we got to Lake Havasu, and it was like,
And Havasu's where? Arizona?
yeah,
Okay.
it was like COVID didn't exist. It was like people just pretended like it wasn't. What?
Everyone's
Nope.
just living normal.
You just normal,
Mhm.
and nobody even freaking really skipped a beat. And so we stayed there, and we were like, I did some work down there. That's where I really kind of honed in my FPV skills. They fly that 100-mile-an-hour drone, and so I started chasing the fast speedboats to go down to Lake Havasu, and so I started filming those guys, and that was really really cool. And kind of decided that was something that I wanted to pursue, and so we're in Havasu. I think for like 9 months or something, just really doing fun jobs. But yeah, it was like the world didn't stop. It was really, really crazy. And then after that, I started following a tattoo artist that had a wireless tattoo gun, and he's like, "I want to do adventure tattoos. Will you film me?" And I'm like, "Abso-freaking-lutely," So I had this new girl, uh, met this new guy that was wanted me to travel around and do this, and I started learning what traveling was about. And I'd never left Washington, never left Olympia, just this secluded kid that got his ass kicked from that whole weed experience. And so uh, I just wanted to go, and so I started traveling with him. We were doing like tattoos with people drifting around us in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia. You'd have been proud,
Mm-hmm.
until we had a scare that some guy next to us was going to whip out a gun, because they started talking smack, and become small town boy again. I wedged myself down in between the seats in the back of the car, because he had this sporty little car.
Yeah.
I wedged myself down because he's like, "What, you got a gun?" And they start yelling back and forth. I'm like, and so I get down and I wedge myself down in between the
great.
seats. Anyway, threat's over, and they're like, "Casey, what the? Oh my God, how did you even get down there?" And I'm like, "I can't get out," and I literally couldn't move. They had to like get people in there. pull chairs up, like grab people and like start wedging me out of this tiny little car that I'd shoved myself down to try and not get shit. So
You're like
that's
stuck between the seats.
yeah, at that point, I'm just, if I made it through everything else, I'm not going to get shot right now. So,
That's funny.
yeah.
So how were you making a living out there in Havasu?
Uh,
I know you're always doing something crazy. That's why.
yeah,
Were you
just
doing
basically
drone work?
promotional work. Yeah, I was doing video work. So
Yeah.
we were going around doing promotional work. We had hooked up with like these really cool rockhound people, and so we'd follow them around, do cool videos for their rockhound group, and then I started doing a bunch of stuff. Did some stuff for the newspaper. Did some stuff, whatever. And then that tattoo artist picked us up, and so he's like, "Let's start traveling." We started doing that, but then we were down in La Paz, Mexico. No. We were down in San Felipe, Mexico. That's where the tattoo artist lives. So we were kind of in between one of the jobs, and we we're at a bar, and somebody was like, "Oh, it was so amazing seeing the whale sharks yesterday. I can't believe they're a drive away." And I'm like, "What?" I heard whale sharks, and
Yeah.
and the lady's like,
I bet
"Yeah,
you did.
yeah, the whale sharks. They're down in La Paz." And I'm like, oh, "La Paz, what is that town?" And so my mind is like, I had read this book called "The Girl of the Sea of Cortez" when I was a kid. It's one of the only books I've ever finished. I mean, I just can't sit long enough to read a book. So, but I remembered that book was from La Paz, and I remember the giant manta rays. I remember the whale sharks they talked about, and it was by Peter Benchley. So it was like this amazing book. So I remembered that book, and I'm like, we got to go. It's a drive away, and so we left. This my poor ex, whoever that person is. I'm like, we got to go, and so we left that day and just started going down there. We got a couple of crystal clear kayaks and headed down the Baja Peninsula, and ended up chasing the Baja racers down the Baja Peninsula because they're like, "What? You got a drone, a FPV drone?" And so I got to do this sweet work chasing the Baja racers. Those guys were crazy.
Yeah. Tight.
Nobody parties harder than a group of Baja guys. I swear, bro. But seriously, that was a really, really, really cool experience. And then made it down to La Paz, and dude, there I am in Mexico. No passport. Did not know Spanish at all. I mean, hola, ¿cómo está?
Yeah.
And in heaven, because there's all these incredible creatures around me. So I just kind of teamed up with the local tourism and the local people, and just started trading for a room and board, trading for food, trading everything I wanted for just doing videos, cool videos. And they let me use the jet skis. So I'll show you a video of me riding out with these dolphins, me riding out with the manta rays, me just doing these videos all day long, and honestly living my best life, bro. It was amazing. But long story short, another opportunity wound up down there where we could have done business, and it was something that I would have had to commit for my entire life because of the weird roads and everything that it took us for that business. And I was like, nope, it's not happening. So I came back up here, and that's when I decided to